Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So for this video, I will be going over my April TBR slash MBR, and this is going to be my TBR for Battle of the Bands 5 Captain's Faves. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of mood reading, and I don't exactly know if I'm going to be able to get to all of these, mainly because of my work schedule. I am a relief mail carrier, and sometimes I work a lot, sometimes I don't work as much, but good God, I've been working a lot of overtime lately, a lot of 6-day work weeks, 50-hour weeks, so that's going to continue into April, so I don't know. I'm definitely not going to be able to read 20 books, so that's out the window already. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get to 10, but these are the books that I would love to get to if I can manage to find the time. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I'm going to just go ahead and go in the order of the prompts. So I don't have books for all of the prompts, but you'll see as we go. So starting with Team Ian's prompts for number 1, When You Were Young by the Killers. That's to read a captain's childhood favorite or teenage favorite. And the book that I'm going to read that Ian himself recommended me to try out is Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is by Stephen Chbosky, which is the author of Imaginary Friend, one of my favorite horror books of all time, but this was a book that he wrote like 20 years prior, and it's like a teenage romance novel. I have no idea if I'm going to like this, but it's super short, and I can listen to it on Spotify for free, so I'm going to check it out. And for prompt number 3, that's going to be Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours by Stevie Wonder, which is to read a book that was gifted to you. And the book that I'm going to read, potentially, is Anathema by Nick Roberts. I've read a few Nick Roberts books. He's one of my favorite indie horror authors working today. Sadly, I don't remember who gifted me this book. It could have been... I honestly don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But it's very short, so it's good for Readathon. It's not a book that I have to get to in the month of April. I'm going to definitely have my priority reads, but if I can get to this, I would love to get to it. In prompt number 4, we have Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap, which is to read a book chosen for you based on the scavenger hunt. And I don't think I filmed my scavenger hunt, but I did do it, and the book that I came up with was A Chorus of Fire by Brian Anderson, I think is the name. Brian D. Anderson. And this was the sequel to, good Lord, I have a bad memory, The Bard's Blades. And that book was one of the best like fantasy first books in the series. I gave the book 4.5 stars. Really enjoyed it and very much looking forward to getting to the sequel. It's not a priority read, but if I can get to it in April, that'd be great. If not, I'll get to it in May. And for prompt number 5, we have New York State of Mind by Billy Joel, which is to read a book set in a big city. And again, Ian has recommended me to read When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. And Nat Cassidy is an author that I'm quickly growing to love because he's written some just fantastic horror books. And this is his newest one that is a new release in April or March. I'm very much looking forward to reading this if I can get to it. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for this one. And now moving on to the best team of all, Team Jake. And of course, I'm going to try to read all of Team Jake's prompts because that'll gain my team the most points. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it, but down below, there's still time to sign up. This is the last day to sign up for Battle of the Bands 5. So if you're at all interested in joining this fantastic read-along, or readathon, I should say, sign up down below. There's still time. But of course, starting with prompt number 6, One of These Days by Pink Floyd. Read a book you've been putting off. And there's a lot of books I've been putting off, but probably this one is one of the more egregious ones. I really want to get to this. Before I Met You by Lisa Jewell, which, again, another gifted book that I don't remember who gifted me this, but Lisa Jewell, one of my all-time favorite authors. I'm trying to read all of her back catalog, and I've basically enjoyed everything that she's written. I've given all of her books 4.5 or 5 stars, so I'm almost guaranteed to love this book. So definitely a book that I'm going to prioritize in the readathon. Another book that's a definite priority because it's a read-along over on the Bookistorm Discord. Prompt number 7, Rotten Peaches by Elton John, a book that takes place in a prison, jail, or dungeon. And of course, very fittingly, I'm going to be reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, and it has dungeon in the name, so it's got to fit, right? I did message Ian about it. He did say it fits. So yeah, this is the first book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Definitely excited to kick this read along, and it happens to coincide with Battle of the Bands, which is even more fun. Hopefully we get a lot of people to sign up for this read along, and it just sounds like a really fun fantasy series, and I've never really heard any bad things about this, so definitely looking forward to checking it out. And for prompt number 8, we have Late in the Evening by Paul Simon. Read a book with a word relating to evening in the title, so either night, star, dark, midnight, whatever. And the book that I'm going to read is Luck in the Shadows by Lynn Flowing. I've read her TBR Triad trilogy, really loved that, and now this is the first book, and I believe it's called the Night Runner series. No idea what it's about, but it's Lynn Flowing, so I'm going to check it out. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to starting this series, and hopefully it's just as good or as better as the TBR Triad. Number 9, we have Buzzcut Season by Lord, which is to read a book featuring a character in military training or in a war. And this next book definitely fits that prompt very well. It's my Patreon pick for the month, chosen by Coleridge Girl, and that would be The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. Now, I remember I was supposed to read this book in high school. I don't remember if I actually did, because most of the time I didn't read what I was actually supposed to read. But I've gone back, after high school, like I've gone back and read a lot of those books I was supposed to read, and I ended up really enjoying them. So hopefully with this book, I can have that same experience like I did, with like Frankenstein and other classic books that I was supposed to read in high school. And this one's also very short. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And the last prompt for the best team, Team Jake. Prompt number 10, My Life by Billy Joel, which is to read a memoir or a book written in first person. Now, my original plan was to read the 4th and final book in this Peter McLean series, Priest of Crowns, War for the Rose Throne. But, like I've mentioned, I've been working a lot and I haven't had time to get to the 3rd book, which I was supposed to read in March, Priest of Gallows. So my plan is to probably read this one for this prompt, and then if I have time, I'll get to Priest of Crowns. If not, I'll push this back into May. So I'm definitely doing some catching up here because I've been working a lot. But yeah, definitely one of these books will be read for this prompt. And now switching over to Team Nala's prompts for number 11, we have All In by Samuel J., which is a book you've committed to read. And definitely a book that I would love to get to is The Last Session by Julia Bentz. I read her debut novel last year, The Writing Retreat. Really loved that book. And I'm going into this book not knowing too much, but it's by an author that I trust now because I loved her debut. So hopefully it's just as good, if not better. I would love to be able to get to it. I need to figure out how I'm going to be able to get it, though, because it's a new release in April, and I don't know if I want to spend an Audible credit on it, so I'm going to have to see if it's on Libby or Hoopla. If not, I can always push it, but I would love to be able to get to this book in April. Next up, we have number 12, Obsidian by Trevor Hall. Read a book with mystical elements or indigenous rep. And a book that definitely counts for this is The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, one of my all-time favorite horror authors. This is a brand new book that came out a few days ago in March. I wanted to kind of read it then, but Ian convinced me to read it with him in April during the readathon. And it's a perfect fit for this prompt because Stephen Graham Jones, one of the best indigenous authors out there. And this book, from what I've heard, is amazing, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out. Next up, prompt number 13, St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion by John Parr. Read a book featuring a character pursuing their dream or fulfilling their destiny. This one I slotted 0G by Dan Wells. This is not a priority read, but it's very short on Audible. It's like 4 hours. And Dan Wells, one of my all-time favorite authors. If I could get to it, would be great, but definitely not a priority. if I need something like super short to attack with Team Nala with, I could definitely do that and just read it in a day. In prompt number 14, we have Desert Rose by Sting. Read a book with beautiful prose or lush detailed descriptions. And I normally don't read books like that, but a book that I've been wanting to read, and it's actually a book that I'm scheduled to read because of the random number generator game that I do on the Book Astronomer Discord. Randomly choose a number between 1 and 100. The Discord members get to guess what that number is, and whoever is the closest gets to pick a book for me to read off of my TBR. And can't remember who the winner was, but they picked The 13th Tale. And from what I've heard, this book sounds very interesting, and I have been confirmed that it does have beautiful prose. So definitely checking this book out. It's probably going to be one of the very first books that I read during the readathon because I already have it on Libby. So that's a time crunch. So I'm going to have to read that like the first week of April. So definitely going to happen. Next up, we have prompt number 15, Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. Read a book featuring characters from different walks of life coming together. In a book that me and Ian, can you tell that Ian and me are colluding here a little bit this month? Tons of buddy reads happening. We have slotted Dogs of War by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is the first book, and yet again one of many series by this man. And from what I can tell, this definitely fits the prompt very well. And yeah, definitely excited to check out a Tchaikovsky book. It's also very small. Like usually he writes like chunky sci-fi books or like very small novellas. This is like a properly length novel from the man. So yeah, definitely interested to check this book out. And then we come to Team Nico's prompts. And for prompt number 16, we have Widower by Make Them Suffer. Read a book with a character who has been widowed or who has lost a loved one. And yet again, a book that Ian has recommended me is We Kept Her in the Cellar. And I've had my eye on this book since I've heard Ian talk about it. I'm very excited for this book. And actually, this is now a part of me, Stacy, and Ian's collab where Ian makes us read 3 books. I've sadly DNF'd one of his picks. Please don't kill me, but I had to DNF Lonesome Dove. I was not having a good time with it. I made it halfway through, and I just did not care. Sorry, Ian. But the book that he picked since I've DNF'd that is We Kept Her in the Cellar, which I'm very confident I'm going to like from what I know about it. So hopefully that will mend some wounds. Probably not. Next up, we have prompt number 18, Broken Survivors by Beast in Black, which is to read a book that explores a character's past trauma, whether hardship or healing. And the book that I have slotted for this is our Thrill, Chill, or Kill book club pick, and There He Kept Her. And very excited for this. Not much else to say. This is definitely a priority read. A lot of these books are kind of just books that I would love to be able to get to, but this one for sure will be read by me in April, and hopefully a lot of y'all join us, because some of the books for Thrill, Chill, or Kill have not gone so well, but hopefully this one will kind of turn things around for us. Next up, we have prompt number 19. Very fitting that I'm reading Stephen King for this prompt. Snow Brigade by Mew. A book featuring a character doing whatever they can to help someone they care about, whether sweet or toxic. And the book that I've decided to fit this prompt very well is The Running Man by Stephen King. And also, speaking of Ian, yet again, me and Ian are co-hosting the Stephen King Book Club, and this is our pick for the month of April. Very good pick because it's very short, very fast-paced, very good pick for a readathon month. Hopefully y'all come either reread this book with us or pick it up for the first time. Very interesting Stephen King novel, very different than a lot of his other books. Dystopian, it actually takes place in the year 2025. He wrote this in the early 80s, so kind of interesting parallels there. But yeah, hopefully y'all join us. And like I mentioned, I don't have books slotted for all of these prompts, but there's other books that I could potentially read. I wanted to read The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey in the month of March. Good God, I can't talk today. I wanted to read this in March, but like I said, I've been working a lot and I haven't had the time. If I can slot it for one of these prompts, if I must, I do have it on Hoopla to read, and I have that for like another couple of weeks, so maybe I'll mood read it. I don't know. I'm very excited because I really enjoyed Just Like Home, one of my all-time favorite horror novels. I've heard bad things about this, but I've heard bad things about a lot of her other books, so maybe I'll just have an unpopular opinion and really like her stuff. But that's another book I could possibly get to. All right, so that is my jumbled mess of an April TBR slash MBR. Like I mentioned, I definitely have books I'm going to prioritize because a lot of these are buddy reads and read-alongs that are taking place. So let me try to figure out some here. Dungeon Crawler Carl, I'm for sure going to get to. The Things They Carried is my Patreon pick. I will 100% get to that. Priest of Gallows, I really need to get to. Priest of Crowns, I might have to push that into May, but if I could read both, that would be great. The Buffalo Hunter buddy read with me and Ian. We'll try to have a channel open for that if y'all want to buddy read us with that. The 13th Tale, really need to get to that. Dogs of War, another buddy read. We Kept Her in the Cellar, and There He Kept Her, and The Running Man for sure. And like I mentioned, I have the Echo Wife on Hoopla, so I might just try to fit that in somewhere. But, you know, a lot of the other books I don't have to get to, and I probably won't have time to get to all of them because I'm working a lot. But it's going to be fun nonetheless. And like I mentioned, there's still time to join the Readathon. This is the last day to do it, so sign up form down below. Go sign up. We'll put you on a team. We're going to have a lot of fun in April. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have, stay tuned for more content. And like I mentioned, Booker Strummer Discord, where we've got tons of buddy reads and read-alongs happening all the damn time, and the April Battle of the Bands 5 taking place in April starts tomorrow, if this video goes up on the 31st, hopefully. But yeah. And Patreon down below if you want to go support me there for as little as $1 a month. And my Amazon wish list if you want to buy me a book. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fantastic day.